So I'd like to welcome our first contributor, Rachel, who will be giving us a presentation on Penumbra's work with distress brief intervention and how peer fits into that. So Rachel, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. Thanks for that. I'm just going to share my screen. Yeah, perfect. Okay, well, hello everyone. Yes, I'm Rachel and I am the Distress Brief Intervention Network Manager with Penumbra Mental Health, and it's really fantastic to be here, and thank you to our Scottish Recovery Network colleagues for inviting me to share some of my experiences with you all. I'm going to share my experience of delivering distress brief intervention with peer at the heart of it. Brief is in my job title, but anyone who has met me before will be laughing at the irony of this. So I will do my very best to keep to time, I promise. But I've worked with Penumbra now for 15 years, and it's been an honour because in this time I have always delivered services providing peer support. But we are here to focus on distress brief intervention, or DBI for short. You'll be glad to know that I'm not going to be saying that full whack every time. So yes. Let me just move my slide. There we go. So what is distress brief intervention? So the DBI programme emerged through the Scottish Government committing to improve responses to people in distress. They established DBI, which is a new approach to support distress, and it started in 2017 in 4 pilot sites in Scotland. The pilot ran for 5 years, so it was a long-term pilot, and it involved an independent evaluation, and findings were extremely positive. And this has since led the Scottish Government supporting and health and social care partnerships across Scotland to have local DBI services, and we've achieved that goal. So DBI is now embedded across all health and social care partnership areas. We have also established in 2020 a national DBI service where people contact an NHS 24 mental health hub and the Scottish Ambulance Service national contact centres. They can also be provided with a DBI support opportunity as well. So since 2017, the programme has been building a large and far-reaching national and regional distress collaboration, putting people very much at the centre, providing early intervention, reducing duplication, and very much just improving outcomes, most importantly, outcomes for people and their experience of access and support for their distress, as well as those providing the support for them. We've got a very clear vision in DBI of connected, compassionate support, and it's very much cultivated an ethos, really, of collaboration and, importantly, the demedicalisation of distress with a focus on people as people, enabling that sense of ownership and inclusion and compassion at the heart of it. So DBI is a 2-level response, just to kind of give you a little bit about how it kind of works. And it very much is, I'll start with, I'll do it in order, I won't mix it up. But DBI level 1 response is provided by frontline staff. And it's a very straightforward conversation that they will have with a person in distress or they suspect to be in distress. And this is grounded in empathy and underpinned by compassion. Following the conversation around this, frontline staff then have the opportunity to refer a person to receive a short-term period of support. It's around about 14 days, give or take, and that would be beginning the following day, so within 24 hours of them making that referral. Receiving a compassionate and caring frontline response with the offer of next day support really helps the person to manage that immediate distress that they're going through, and it helps them to engage with that ongoing further support, and that is provided with our level 2. So level 2 response really offers a person-centred support within that 24 hours of us receiving referrals for people. It is short-term, over about 14 days, but we very much focus on the distress presentation. We're not there to try and work out all complexities. We very much kind of respond and provide support that match the needs of a person in distress. And this will always involve an empathic, needs-focused level of support. It facilitates problem solving and self-management skills, signposting, and also providing information about services, local connections. And every person coming through for our support will develop their own stress management plan, really much, really to focus and empower them to be able to manage their distress, and also to reduce the likelihood of them maybe experiencing distress in the future as well. So DBI Level 2 services across the whole of Scotland are provided by Penumbra and many other absolutely brilliant third sector not-for-profit organisations. But Penumbra, we are a leading DBI partner, and we have been involved since its inception. We ran one of the 4 pilot sites in Aberdeen City. We are also partners in providing the DBI National Pathway, who receive those referrals from NHS 24 and Scottish Ambulance on a national level, and we cover the health board areas of Shetland, Orkney, Grampian, Tayside, Lothian, all of the Lothians, Ayrshire and Arran. So yes, and we also led the development of the first local DBI service, so not pilot status. And we've since then developed local DBI services across Scotland as well. So that's our kind of list there. We also co-produce DBI in partnership in Orkney with the Blythe Trust, and also in Shetland with Mind Your Head as well. Oh, sorry, went one too far there. So our people, as you can see, DBI delivery is extremely active. We have supported 26,000 people who have had an experience of distress and managed to reach us. Behind that number is that represents people, people who needed support, and behind every person who needed support, there was a person who was there at the time that they needed it. So that's such a huge impact. We provide DBI across 20 health and social care partnership sites, and we have 70 dedicated DBI practitioners. 53% are in a peer role and counting. Our workforce, regardless of their role, amaze me every day and humble me every day. And I think peer very much enhances all of the qualities and the passion you could ever want from your workforce. In my experience, I've managed a variety of different services providing medium to long-term and, like DBI, short-term support. And I've intentionally embedded peer into the staffing structures and service provision around DBI. For me, it just makes sense. At any point of recruitment, I always ask myself or my recruiting teams to ask, why not peer? It's not why peer, why not peer? Peer support generally is that relationship of mutual support where people with similar life experiences offer each other support, especially as they move through challenging or difficult experiences. People seeking and receiving DBI support are looking for a way forward through and from their distress, and through providing peer, this demonstrates that we don't just talk about things, but we actually believe. We believe in recovery, we model recovery, and we inspire hope through the people we support and also the people who we employ across our organisation. DBI is short-term for support for distress, and this can be a one-off supportive contact or a short-term period of support over a couple of weeks. We know that we have to make every moment count. By providing peer support, this can instantaneously help to build rapport, trust, provide that time, space and compassion in a very short time. Approaches to peer support is very individual across our staff, and it can at times be about sharing your story, but peer is not always necessarily about sharing your story. It can be as simple as sharing and describing that you're in a peer role. You have that lived or living experiences, and this means that you have a connect and an understanding of what it feels like really to take that step to ask or receive support, how you feel having to start support and move forward and learn to trust and all of that, and how it then feels to take the steps to manage and overcome challenges. It can be very simple, and it can very much build a more equal and mutual working relationship as well. There we go. Hopefully I've not skipped too many ahead there. Let me just see. Nope, I'm fine. Peer approaches to support and distress. So peer connections are important because they are safe, they're non-judgmental, and they help to reduce that societal stigma, really, through the voice of lived experience. Contributory factors to distress or crisis can include mental ill health. However, it's not just limited to this. Distress can include a variety of other challenges that any one of us can come across in our life, and distress has a very wide reach. Regardless of whether you have that mental health diagnosis. And in all likelihood, we will all experience distress at one or more points in our life as well. So peer approaches to support in DBI are a core contributor, I believe, to its success as a model of support. We're aware of vulnerabilities that can impact why a person became distressed in the first place and how then distress experiences can contribute to a person being vulnerable. And these could include vulnerabilities around self-harm, it could be suicidal thoughts and behaviours, it could be risks from others, and also entrapment, really, when we feel we have no way out of our negative thoughts or our current circumstances that we kind of face and that we're in. It can also include what we believe to be quite a high risk, and that is self-stigma, meaning a person maybe believes they cannot reach out for help and support, especially at the time that they need it, and that can really stop a person seeking help when they need it the most. Peer helps to reduce these vulnerabilities through inspiring hope, through being that living example. Things can change, support can be positive, and this very much lessens stigma. It welcomes that elephant into the room to talk, to share and explore. It's non-judgmental and it creates that foundation for support to be proactive and meaningful and personalised to every person. With DBI having such that wide reach, there is no standard case type that we see coming through. We support mostly 16 and over, and the oldest person has been in their 90s. They're from all walks of life, a variety of different professions, ethnicities, backgrounds, you name it. And DBI by design is lessening stigma. There is no shame to ask for help or be attended to if you're experiencing distress. Peer in DBI enhances this further, and our peer practitioners also bring a wealth and variety of different lived experiences to enhance support for distress as well. Peer can provide a really solid foundation for us in our support and roles. It really enhances empathic engagement with people. Our peers have shared with me that they, have that lived experience and they feel that this really supports them to relate to people and their experiences as well. And it really motivates them to want to help and support each person and try to understand what their motivations are, what their intentions are, and what's important to them. We find in distress services this is pivotal because we're met with less resistance, because this creates a support environment where a person's voice is the loudest in the room and they're able to direct their own support and find their own solutions. Through lived experience, we know that by meeting a person where they are, creates that safer space for them to be able to then breathe out. It helps them to focus on themselves and what is important to them. Peer enhances that person-centred approach in many ways. One of them, the main ways, is that it's a non-clinical and holistic approach to support in distress or crisis. It means that we know through that lived or living experience that clinical approaches can help, in some ways for some people, but many of us will never or require that level of support, or it's not going to be the right type of support to help us. We know there's a whole host of wellbeing resources at our fingertips on our front doorstep that can make all the difference. And our peer colleagues are definitely not shy in encouraging creativity when exploring what can help us feel well, happy, empowered. Peer support can encourage a person to widen that understanding for themselves, find out what wellbeing means to them, find their own tools, their own strategies and their own techniques to enhance their wellbeing that can make that difference and reduce their distress. Our data shows that only 15% of people who have come through DBI support actually require to be referred or connected onwards from us to specialist, clinical, or even statutory support services for further input around their distress. Our peer approach to distress is a large part of this. Peer in DBI is kind of moves distress support beyond more typical and conventional models of support, and it emphasises that we are our own experts of our experiences. Peer inspires ownership and for people to take steps for themselves, to believe in themselves, building that self-awareness and understanding of their own reality while having the support to grow their own knowledge and their skills and build their resources to move forward to reduce their distress. That process of mutuality and sharing experiences and tips and resources, it can be really motivating for people as they are mapping and navigating their own next steps. And I think a really big important one is that it can lessen the fear that's often around this, and it can build the hope as well. So my last slide, and I'll finish up here, I'll let you read through our quotes, but it's some quotes from some of the people who have used DBI support and also some of our peer practitioners. The power of peer in supporting people in distress can really be seen in these quotes. I'll just give you a wee moment. I'm just going to say thank you for your time and for listening to me. And just one last thing before I go to take away is always remember to ask yourself, why not peer? Why not peer? But thank you very much, everyone.